Okay, and we are back with another production line video. If you're watching this, there's actually a Steam sale on at the moment, and I never know how I feel about these things because a lot of developers that I know will be like, hey, my game's on sale on Steam, why not go and grab it right now? And I tend not to. I used to do that, but I tend not to do it because like if you spot that it's in the Steam sale, then you know and it's on your wish list, and that's great. You know, I can't think what it is. I think it's 33% off. Go grab it now, but like, you know, preferably grab it when it's not on sale. I get more money. It kind of seems slightly counterintuitive, but if you're on a budget and you don't have the money or whatever, and anyway, you know, it's on sale right now on Steam this particular week if you happen to be watching it when this video comes out. This is version 1.77, I think, so loads of updates, and I'm just going to talk about some of the stuff that's gone in and some stuff that's kind of on my mind in terms of improving the game. Now, something that very visibly has changed is the colours have changed. You may think not for the better, I don't know. I think for the better, but I'm not sure. But more importantly, they've changed it in a way that makes it easy for me to change them. So if you're looking at these little bubbles here, bubbles, they're not bubbles, are they? These little numbers that go up, they're a slightly darker blue. You may notice that's a slightly different green up there where it says 100%. And this is a very slightly different red, or maybe not. What is really obvious is if I go here, these colours are different. These colours are different to how they used to be. And they're very different here. I don't like this blue. It might have to change to blue. Anyway, the important thing is that they're all the same now. Don't have any loans. There is an actual colour palette. Now, something that you may or may not know is that like big AAA studios, like the ones I used to work at, if they're doing things properly, and by the way, I know about this bug. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix that. Okay. They will have like an art director, and one of the things that an art director does is they look at the artwork that everyone's done, whether it's user interface or in the game, whatever, and they say, is it the same style? Is there a color palette? So in other words, in the user interface you shouldn't have 36 different variations on the color red. It's inconsistent and it's slightly jarring. So that red there should be the same as that red. It is, okay, but it didn't used to be. And also, like this red here should be the same as that red. There should be a scheme, there should be a designed palette so that everything looks consistent and nice. And we have that now. Now you may think, Cliff, I hate the colour palette. The colours are awful. I don't think so. I quite like them, obviously. I'll come onto this screen more in a bit. But the important thing is that they are a consistent palette of colours now. If I zoom out, these colours are a consistent palette along with everything else. These colours here, that sort of purple for example, is the same. That's kind of a manufacturing thing, which is the same as this. And if I go here, it's the same as these. And the important thing is that not only is there a consistent colour palette to the game now, which there wasn't until recently, it's actually just an image. It's if you go into the game's folders and you go into the data bitmaps folder, you'll find a PNG file called colorpalette.png with just a load of colours on it. If you edit them and then launch the game, all the colours are different. And it is that simple. Now that colour palette was actually selected by someone online. You can go to websites that just say here's consistent colour palettes put together by artists, and this is one of them. The problem is I need loads of colours because I have charts, as you've noticed, like these and these, and also these and these. So I need lots of colours. So unfortunately, you don't get to do that thing that a lot of trendy indie games that win the IGF do, when they have very stylized art palettes that only have like 6 colours in, and they all look very consistent and they look lovely. The trouble with that is I have a personal beef about when you see colour palettes that have been designed by an artist but that artist doesn't ever do any data visualization. So for example, if I look here, the important thing here is that I can tell the difference between the colours. Okay, so I'll learn that this sort of reddish colour, waiting for next vehicle, that's waiting for next vehicle, that's out of resources, I think, isn't it? Waiting for resources. These have to be very different. These two here are not particularly a good choice. Now you might think that artistically, that's not particularly nice, or you might not like this. But the important thing is that it conveys information clearly to the player, not that the player goes, very nice, this is like Leonardo da Vinci's Blue Period. Like, that's probably not even a thing. I don't know anything about art. We're not trying to win art awards. What we're trying to do is say, here is a complex simulation that the player likes to play with, and are they getting the information that they want? Is it clear to them? And these are conflicting objectives, right? Because palettes that sometimes look nice are sometimes useless. That doesn't look nice, but I can tell that a lot of it is one thing. It's blue. Some of the other bits look a little bit nicer. Like, I like those colours, but again, that yellow is too close to that. I need to change that. Let's pick another one. You know, I like that slightly sort of faded out look. So there's always this conflict that's going on. In visual game design, especially in simulation games, strategy tycoon games, when what we're trying to do is say, here is information, it is clear, and also say, here is not a user interface that looks like someone's vomited in a palette box. And it's very difficult, and we never get it quite right, and I'm always trying to make it better. I'm not sure about that green, I just don't know. It's interesting to know what people think. If you want to see an example of this done really badly, buy a copy of The Economist magazine, which I used to subscribe to, but it's just too depressing. And if you look at any of their charts, it'll be like GDP of various countries over time, and there'll be 6 lines, and they're all very slightly different blues. And it's bloody useless, because it looks lovely, and I bet you the art designer for The Economist is like, wow, this is a lovely colour palette, but you can't tell anything from the charts because they haven't been designed with like usability in mind. So it's a conflict. And anyway, I'm working on it in that we now actually have like a colour palette in the game. So that's something that took a long time because it involved editing a lot of code. But it's in there now. Loads of other stuff has happened, obviously. Let me look at my exciting list. I fixed loads of crashes to do with obscure things. Something that we did, was it in here, in expenses? Auto expenses. Yeah, you can sort these now, which you couldn't do before. So up and down by each column, and this is actually sorted by size rather than just randomness. Sorted by category if you prefer. Which I think is just handy. If you've got this data, why didn't I make it sortable, you know? Blah blah blah. Oh yeah, there was a thing that was in there for ages, but it wasn't triggering for most people. If this is really annoying you, by the way, this is because I've researched everything, but I've still got research stuff. You can now turn that off. Boom. Yeah, something that's been in the game, it didn't trigger a lot, is this. Brand awareness. I'm not running any marketing right now in this game. And several people have mentioned a long time ago, if you're selling an enormous number of cars, and I am, and I've got an enormous amount of money, this is a very late game, I may sneeze. Should I edit it out if I sneeze? What would PewDiePie do? Hay fever. I'm not good. Let's be honest, I'm not going to edit it, am I? If you've got an enormous number of cars out there, even if you're not doing any marketing, there is brand awareness from the fact that everyone sees your cars everywhere. That has always been in the game, but it's been very small, hard to hit, and now it's easier to hit, and it tells you. So the brand awareness is 7.27%, and that's entirely organic. And I think that's somewhere else, isn't it? It's on, I think it's on the marketing screen, market analysis, market. There you go. So actually showing that now. So that's a new thing. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, the crash, bug, hang, crash, fixed. Okie dokie, let's go to this screen. I've changed this. This now shows these icons here. If you edit these names and make them too long, the icons will disappear. It's not that exciting, but I'll prove it to you. Whoa! It happens in real time, isn't that exciting? Something that doesn't happen in real time, oops, in real time is if you change the colours here, it doesn't change here until you reload it. But anyway, who cares? So that's good. Something else that I've changed is that these are smaller now. They don't show the market value, so we can fit more of these in so there's less scrolling. As a result, I've put the market value here, and this is what I'm going to talk about for most of the rest of this video, which I'm going to try and not make too long. I have put extra information in there. Do I want to talk about anything else? No, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do the research and development screen. So here's the thing, right? Seats, Napa leather seats. Let's talk about this. So let's talk about where these numbers come from. In fact, let's pick something else. Let's pick this, and then go. Yeah, let's go to this. Right. So currently, I've red leather seats. The market value $5,824. In other words, that's how much, in general, given the normal number of customers, the normal amount of production, how much people generally think they're prepared to pay extra on a car, because a car comes with seats, right? To get red leather seats. Hideous if you ask me, but matter of opinion. That is $5,824. In other words, if we can add those seats for less, we make a profit. Okay. So what this shows you is the component cost, only the component cost. So because they're sports seats, we only need one pair of seats. Okay, they're pairs. So we save the cost of one pair of seats, which would normally cost $363. And it costs us $3,661 to put in red leather seats. Okay, so it's actually costing us $3,297 to add red leather seats to this car. We can charge $5,824, maybe more if we're prepared to leave the car in the showroom until someone gullible comes along. So this is definitely a winner. Okay, and you can do this calculation for other stuff, and you could work out whether or not it's worth it. Yeah. So if you look here. This is more interesting. Napa leather seats. Napa just means high quality, by the way. So here we save on the price of a seat, which is $363. It costs us a Napa leather seat, which is $654. So it's only really costing us $290, and we can charge $3,600. So this is hilarious. So we should do this. What I want to talk about is where those numbers come from, because it's actually quite sophisticated and complicated. So what this code is doing is it's not saying, well, how much do Napa leather seats cost, which would be easy, okay, because you just go here, prices, let's look them up, Napa leather seats, blah, 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 3,061. And I think because we're not actually making them, that is the cost here, isn't it, I think. No, $654. Excellent. Right. So they're normally stupidly expensive. Why then? Why is it only saying $654? And that's because we're making them. Okay. So what this bit of code does is it looks at the game and it says, okay, how many Napa leather seats are you using? How many are you making? So therefore, how many are you importing? And it works out that ratio, and it works out the price of importing, in other words, retail Napa leather seats, and it looks at for the ones you're making, what components do you need, and you only need some Napa leather and some steel, and then you make loads of seats. So it works out the average price to you right now of making that, of providing that component. Some of which may be imported, some of which may not be, and it comes to that conclusion. It does that calculation for you. Okay. Now, if we look back at that in a few hours' time, maybe that number will change, partly because the price of the raw materials will go up or down, depending on the marketplace, and partly because we may start putting these Napa leather seats on a lot more cars, and therefore we won't be able to keep up with supply, so we'll be buying some in at retail, so the price may go up. Okay, it depends. Now, I think it's useful for you to have this information, but it's probably not presented in the best possible way. It probably should be one Napa leather seat, $654, brackets, due to 75.34% of them being produced locally, or something like that. I don't want to overwhelm you with information, but I want you to have the information that is accurate, because sometimes these numbers are very bizarre. I had an incident recently that before I released this update, where I thought, oh my god, I found a bug. And the bug was that fitting Nappa leather seats was actually cheaper than fitting standard seats. So I was making a real killing there, and I thought that's a bug. And I looked at all the code and all the numbers, and I realised it wasn't a bug. The bug was all of my seat production was making Nappa leather seats, so I was making them really effectively. And normal seats, which I wasn't making, I had to import at retail, and they cost more because all the profit was going to the seat manufacturing company. So it did actually make sense, and I thought, actually, this is brilliant. This is exactly what I want. Because what's happening there is I have vertically integrated part of the production chain, and I'm now giving that information to the player, and they're kind of doing well out there. So that's new information. Nothing has changed behind the scenes. I'm just displaying that information differently. So the only other thing that has changed recently is if I go into the research and development screen, I've changed the look of it, right? So the background has this slightly washed out view of a factory that is less kind of glaring, I think. Still, I don't 100% know about the color, I don't know. And these are color coded. These are things from mods, actually, which is why I haven't researched them. These are things I've not researched, but it will show you what they would be. I like this. Generally, I've asked loads of people and they like it. They like this color coding. And you'll know when you play the game that orange is kind of engine stuff, blue is kind of accessory stuff, green is body stuff, etc, etc. I think red is like advanced manufacturing stuff or something, I can't remember. And if it's nothing, then it's black. So that's like a sort of category. So we've got a lot of black stuff here that just applies to like process. So I think that colour coding works, but again, I'm not happy with any of the colours. I'm still working on it. And if you add stuff to the queue, let me add a bunch of stuff. This isn't stuff that's normally in the game because it's from mods. They have the colours on as well, just so you can see that. I kind of researched everything. This is a really late game. It's got some buggy data in. So if you've seen in this video some like cars where the doors are wrong and stuff like that, it's because this is my like test thing. Those bugs are not actually in the game as far as I know. So anyway, that's everything that's gone in at the moment, and you know, I haven't finished working on it or anything. I love this game and I love working on it and I love optimizing it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please like and subscribe and do that other stuff. If you have friends that are on the fence about the game and you're watching this video this week, tell them it's in the Steam sale. But obviously if they've got any kind of ethics or are nice people, they'd wait until after sale and buy it at full price. It's like not gonna happen, is it? Anyway, also let me know what you'd like to see in the game. Let me know about anything that you think I've wrecked or ruined with my latest changes, stuff like that. Just send general comments my way. Very interested to know if people play about the colours and go, look, this colour palette's way better, Cliff, you should have this instead. Always interested to know that sort of thing. Let me know any ideas you would like to have for more content for the game. I want to put in new car designs, but that takes a very long time on the art front, so we will be doing that, but it's going to take a long well, it's not going to take that long. It's going to take a long time by Positech standards, okay, which means a few months. Okay, anyway, thank you for watching. I am Cliff Harris. This is Production Line. It's on Steam, it's on the Humble Store, it's on GOG, and you can get it now. I'll see you again soon.